Everyone remain calm. Remain calm. There is an alien invasion going on. The war against Gigas is ongoing. This is an Encyclopedia Bombastica for EarthBound, a game that went from something I have never played before to absolutely one of my favorite games of all time. And right from the intro, I love the way this starts, which it starts off pretty creepy and unnerving. It begins with, this is going to be a tale of an alien invasion, and it's going to be serious. And it's got a very War of the Worlds type vibe. And then it's immediately contrasted with this intro, with this jamming music, and 4 kids, and they're going through these weird locations. And it's such a weird game! This is such a weird game. This is EarthBound. If you didn't already know, especially because I already said it. I played EarthBound over the last month or so, whatever it's been since Nintendo finally put it out on the Virtual Console for Wii U. I'd never played the game before. I'd heard nothing but amazing things about it, and there was kind of a lull in the release schedule, and it seemed like, hey, if there ever was a time to play EarthBound, it seemed like now was the time. And I could just sit here and watch this damn intro. Not only is it super charming, but that music. Alright, let's go ahead and let's hit a button. I guess we can play a video game. We're gonna bounce around a little bit, but I feel like the game sets its tone super early, right in the beginning. Of course you're gonna pick fast. Who doesn't pick anything but fast for text speed? Stereo, of course. Like right off the bat, the game is upfront about what you are in for, especially if you didn't know what you were in for, and you really wouldn't. The first mother did not. I'm gonna turn off the AC in this room. Beep. The first mother did not come out here. The EarthBound was the first one that we were exposed to, and Mother 3 obviously never came out here, and EarthBound 64 was canceled and it became Mother 3. So the one I went through when I played, I think was just plain. All these look a little gaudy, but I do really like strawberry, so we're gonna mix it up. So you have the option to name these characters, and they have sort of, you know, default names, but there are all sorts of other default names. So, you know, Ness is the one that he is known by, so we'll go ahead and name Ness that. And then you're introduced to the other characters in the game right up front, and they dance to the music. Everything about this game is incredibly charming. So, you know, you just go ahead and name her Paula. Oh, and listen for that. I don't know what that guy's saying. And this guy's name is Pooh, which is not even played for laughs. This is a game that is constantly cracking jokes, that is constantly breaking the fourth wall, that is constantly reminding you that it's a video game, or that it's aware of the genre it's in and your expectations for that genre, and yet it never really makes a poop joke. That's amazing. I'll go ahead and name this one my actual dog. I also like that it's called small letters. That's a really small touch, but one I really appreciate. Ah. And once you're done with that, you think, I've answered all my questions. But no, pick your favorite homemade food. This sort of threw me for a loop, because my favorite food is pizza. And I was like, well, I guess that's not really homemade. You're normally ordering that. Except that my wife makes delicious, from scratch, homemade pizza. So I was able to find a caveat that allowed me to pick what exactly I wanted to for this section. And this is represented, and they slot in pizza throughout the rest of the game. And what's even better is that it capitalizes it and will constantly insert it into sentences where there should not be capitalization, but it makes it seem all the more important that it's like pizza, pizza, or burger, or whatever you decide to put in there. I think Vinny put in nachos. I think he like texted me that at some point. What's your favorite thing? I think I put in games. Got my TV on in the background. Hey, buddy. That's gonna be distracting for people. Are you sure? I sure am. So I want to at least check out the intro to this game, because I think it sets the tone for EarthBound so well, so quickly. And for people who are watching this, I mean, there will be some spoilers, I guess, in the sense that I'm going to jump around to some different locations just to show off how strange that EarthBound can get. But in my second story that I wrote about EarthBound, This Is the Way the World Ends, where I sort of describe my feelings on the ending, I'm not going to get that deep. Or this will obviously show some more than you would see if you were just to play the game on your own and not look up someone playing a video of it on the internet. But I'm not going to reveal the ending or anything like that. You can go and read that on your own in the several articles I have written about the game since playing it. It's sort of right off the bat, you know, in addition to the tone that it sets in the intro and sort of establishing these different questions that it asks you. You start in a house sleeping, and there's just a noise, and who hasn't had something like that happen to them? It's the fact that EarthBound grounds itself in not the mundane, but in a reality that we can relate to, so that when the fantastic is layered upon it, it makes it so much more fun to engage with. Maybe you can see a little bit of yourself in Ness or Paula or Jeff or Pooh, which is certainly not the case for most RPGs, whether we're talking JRPG or not. You can check things in the world. More often than not, I found that I didn't actually do a whole lot of that. This was a game that I played with a walkthrough from start to finish. I wasn't always checking it, but this was a game that came with a walkthrough, a player's guide, that Nintendo bundled with every copy of the game when it originally came out. So everyone had access to a walkthrough when they played EarthBound. And the game sort of needs it. It's a weird game that doesn't explain itself all sorts of times, and subverts itself, or at least your expectations, in some really funky ways. And I didn't find that having a walkthrough actually cheapened my experience whatsoever. So don't feel bad if that's something you feel like doing as well. In fact, I actually recommend it. Starmen.net has a pretty wonderful walkthrough that will, I don't know why I keep checking everything. They went out to an elegant restaurant. You know. The place where adults go. The Elegant Restaurant. So we're trying to check out what happened to this noise in the middle of the night. Well, maybe you shouldn't be walking in place. That seems like a... Oh, I don't have anything. I think I'm supposed to get something from the house. It's been a while since I played this intro. I'm gonna go talk to my sister. Let's see if I'm right. I should stop checking it and talking to boxes. Cracked bat inside. Okay. Alright, so I can go ahead and equip that. Inventory management actually becomes super critical in this game as you go along, because everything is included in your inventory, including the weapons, armor that you're carrying. So, you know, it looks like you have more slots than you really do, because 4 of those slots are going to be taken up by stuff that you need in order to beef yourself up and take out enemies. You're right. So we're just going to keep on moseying along. All sorts of objects are hidden in presents throughout the world. It's not something the game ever explains or tries to, and that's a-okay. Oh, I should probably get that present, huh? My guess is that it's a cookie, or a biscuit, or a bread roll. Early on, you use a lot of items in order to heal yourself, and then that becomes less relevant when you start to unlock magic, which is called PSI. Looks like I'm sweating a little bit. It's because it is incredibly hot in Chicago today while I'm recording this. And in order to get rid of all the noise in this room, I have to turn off the window AC, which makes it a little rough when we're recording this. The writing in this game is something else. If you missed it, I did an interview dump truck with Marcus Lindblom, who was the translator or the co-translator of the English version of this game. I guess Pokey and I are friends. All right, I think I'm supposed to leave at this point. So, you know, Marcus Lindblom was working at Nintendo in the 90s and was handed this, and I think I want to say he told me it took about 3 months for him to translate. They had to turn things in, you know, significantly ahead of time compared to the turnaround time it takes for a game to be finished and then produced and mass distributed to retailers. Back then, you had to actually produce carts, and producing carts took much longer, especially because the carts were produced in Japan and then had to come over in a ship. So it was a much more complicated process. Okay, I think I'm done. But it was interesting because Lindblom talked about how a lot of what was in EarthBound was in that script, and a lot of what was him, you know, as Lindblom was in that script as well. It's an interesting combination of the two, and he talks about the pretty significant depth what his role was in actually translating this relative to what happened for a lot of scripts back then that weren't produced by Nintendo, which were basically just straight translations, which meant that a lot of stuff didn't necessarily make sense. And famously, I think there are some Square Enix games where the story just straight up contradicts itself as a result of just really poor translations where people were given almost no time to turn it around. Okay, so we should be able to see some of the combat up here, and then we'll jump ahead to a different part of the game. Hey, buddy. Aw, come on. Okay, got the cracked bat. Remember to go for it. I'll make sure and connect 4 after that as well. Got it. Alright, I got my cracked bat. Suppose I should talk to my sister before I mosey on out of here. Oh, she's downstairs. The music in this is just astoundingly good. I need to track down some remix soundtracks. Oh, thanks. Everything's capitalized in this game. When it doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, of course I do. Pixel, join the party. Man, we are just so powerful. Let's go take on the alien menace by ourselves right now. I love that little animation. That's really good. I also like that you talk to the phone, not check the phone. It's something I actually got wrong constantly throughout the game, despite the fact that you do it tons of times. And this is the kind of game where I played it on Virtual Console, and it was actually the way Nintendo has set that up made it a much superior experience. Otherwise, in order to save your game, you are going to these telephones and calling your dad, and that works fine. It's a clever implementation of a saving system, but with the Virtual Console, you can do save states anywhere, which means you can save right before a boss, and as opposed to dying and then having to load an old save, or dying and then losing half your money as a consequence, you just load up where you're at and try a different strategy. It just made the game way less frustrating and got to avoid all sorts of scenarios where that is problematic. So the battle system in this game is pretty basic. I don't have any magic yet, so I'm just going to bash. I'm just going to keep bashing. I'll probably level up right away. My guess is I'll probably unlock some magic pretty quickly. And one of the things we'll see if it actually happens. I guess it won't happen here, but this game was incredibly progressive for the time in terms of being an RPG, in that as you level up, the enemies will become afraid of you, and when they become afraid of you, they run away from you. And when they want to run away from you, you can still fight them, but the game will just say, yeah, you beat them, and you get the experience points. And there are definitely moments in the game where you can exploit the hell out of that and just level up like crazy. And I guess you are grinding in a sense, but it's not the kind of grinding that is so intimately frustrating in a lot of these types of games, because you're just walking up to dudes getting points. It's still grinding, but I don't know. I found it less offensive than I have noticed in previous RPGs I've played. Oh, come on. Got it. Come on. Level up. Level up. There we go. Okay, so now I can heal myself. So life up is essentially the same as a heal spell in this game. And there's also, the game takes into account whether you are in front or behind a character. So you'll notice, in this case, it's just gray or black, and that just means, hey, you and the enemy are on neutral territory. But if you manage to sneak up behind them, it'll be green, and you get a surprise attack. It means you get to attack first, and oftentimes get to attack twice. If they get behind you, like if you're running away, then it'll be red, and then they get a surprise attack and have the potential to attack twice. So you don't want that to happen. And enemies can leave presents, and there's this whole thing in the EarthBound community about collecting all 128 items, which are 128, I guess, rare drops, which is basically impossible to do unless you have a walkthrough, because there are moments where you can defeat an enemy in a dungeon. Oh, damn! Defeat an enemy in a dungeon, and then the enemies that even drop that rare item no longer exist in the world. Okay, smash is basically a critical hit, and that is influenced by guts, which is a different stat. You can boost those through capsules you find during the game that artificially boost that. You can cast certain kinds of, I think, certain kinds of magic, or you can buy certain items that temporarily boost guts, so you just have, you know, a better chance for critical hits during a matchup. Let's see what this guy's got to say. Alright, we're about to encounter the point where essentially EarthBound as a game will be set up for what you're going to be doing for the rest of the game. I mean, I don't blame that dog for leaving. Nothing was inscribed in the tomes about a dog having to come along and defeat the alien menace. If there's one thing I have to say that is a little bit frustrating about EarthBound, as someone that didn't play the original Mother game and have been told by a good number of people that it doesn't hold up very well and it's tough to go back to, there's a whole reason that Ness and the people of Earth can use PSI and have magic. The game never really acknowledges that. Like, there's a whole backstory to the relation between Gygas and apologies if I'm saying that incorrectly. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. Why PSI exists on the Earth, and that's... I don't want to say too much more, but I wish that was acknowledged in the game in some sense. Oh, this is great. This is one of the best jokes in the game. Okay, we have to at least get through the B bit. If you've ever heard a meme about don't hurt a bee in a video game, you're about to learn why that meme exists. How can you not feel confident after that musical cue? You are gonna save the world. Thanks, Buzz Buzz. I got a full party now. Alright. Let's head back home. Because, yeah, we have to see this bee thing play out. At this point, this Encyclopedia Bombastica may just turn into Patrick's gonna sit here until he feels like he should stop playing EarthBound a second time. And I now understand why some people talk about EarthBound as, you know how some people have like a book they read every year just to like sort of remind themselves about something they deeply love. I've had people tell me that's EarthBound for them, you know, for as a video game, and it is easy to see why people would do that. And also why maybe you wouldn't go after the 128 items the first time around, and you would do that the second time, so that you have sort of something else to seek in a second playthrough. Okay, well, I don't need to cast life up. Got Buzz Buzz try and shield. Shield, you know, protects you. Can also bounce back certain magical attacks. You know, stuff like Pokey playing dead, like the idea that you would have a character that is technically supposed to be part of your party, and he just does nothing. It's just funny. It's really funny. So this would be a enemy that would destroy the hell out of me, but thankfully, because of Buzz Buzz, I don't really have to worry about too much here. Base. Boom, 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 boom. I'd watch a band play EarthBound music live. I would. I ain't ashamed of it. Hell yeah, 119. I did win. It's a big level up. I can just beat the game right now. Alright, I gotta drop these guys off at home. I think, right? Alright. What a nice guy. Oh no, buddy. That's wrong. That is factually incorrect, video game. Man, they even... I don't want to talk about the ending, but they even sort of signal a little bit about it early on. That won't make sense to anyone that hasn't played this game. I sure do, buddy. Nah. Okay, all right. Well, so that sort of sets up where you're off to next. You know, the game is about collecting the 8 My Sanctuary locations, recording them into your soundstone. But I want to jump ahead to show you how weird this game gets. And so this is going to be a little bit spoiler territory if you don't want one of the coolest locations in the game to be spoiled for you. So let's hop away to that. All right, we have magically jumped dozens of hours into the game. Well, I don't know about dozens. It's not an especially long game, but it's also not short. I mean, it is an RPG. Because I played with the save states on Virtual Console, I don't actually know how long my game was. I could probably check, but I would guess between 30 and 40 hours seems about right. So this is later into the game. You've got Ness. We have lost Paula. We're in this town of Fourside. Apparently I don't have my map, but I do have a large pizza. Jeff, he can use all sorts of weird kinds of weaponry like bazookas and bottle rockets, which can become very powerful late in the game and attack multiple enemies at once. And he's also capable of, let's see if he's got anything. Nothing right now, but if so often you'll come across items that are called broken, and broken items will be fixed based on the IQ that Jeff has, which levels up over time and will turn into super powerful items that are very useful. But we're going to jump into this cafe, and anyone who's played EarthBound knows what's about to happen next, which is we are going to discover Moonside. Yeah, let's just fight this fire, because that's what you do. Fight a Robopump. The enemies in this game are astounding. I know that the game sets up early on that you're going to be fighting like people and animals that have become evil, where Gygas is sort of preying upon their evil thoughts inherent to them and turning them bad. But you fight things like Robopumps, and you fight things like taxis and like meters. Like, it is bananas. It's not a word I use lightly. This game is bananas. And so yeah, this Moonside is just this unbelievable looking world. Like, it's just so strange and cool. And look, there's a painting that's following me. Let's fight that painting. You confront the abstract art. So one of the things that Jeff can also do is he can spy. So you get a sense of you know, how powerful he is. So like if I use paralysis, let's see. Let's see if he's got anything going on in here. Yeah, big bottle rocket. Why not? That's probably actually gonna kill him. Yeah. So you can use spy to get a sense of vulnerabilities for the enemies. Sometimes you actually get vulnerabilities on bosses. You know, Paula is a magic or PSI heavy user, and the last character to get Pooh is I'm sure it's Poe, but whatever. I just like calling it Pooh. He is a really weird one because let's actually try paralysis to see how it works. He can't equip most of the standard equipment that you find. Ooh. Okay, here's also a weird thing. So his HP keeps going down. If I can catch it. Come on, come on, come on. See, I caught it before it got to 0. So even though the enemy inflicted enough damage to kill Jeff, it goes down at a certain rate, and if you can heal him before it hits 0, you can actually save him. So you have an incentive to maybe sort of like move the battle along and try and keep him in the battle, as opposed to having to spend more MP or PP in order to raise him from the dead, which is possible, or you can use items. But it's a really interesting little mechanic that I've never seen in a video game before, that actually is super useful. Oh. So this is actually part of the puzzle in order to solve this area. You need to find someone that allows you to go through. But this is absolutely one of those moments in the game that I think everyone talks about. I should probably heal Jeff. Okay, well, that worked out fine. And actually, the fact that that battle was over as quick as it is, I think, is honestly pretty representative of the difficulty of EarthBound in general, which is to say, I don't think it's that tough. I mean, granted, I did, I guess, play it with a walkthrough, but as long as you do a decent amount of grinding, you know, and it's often most useful to do that once you've beaten the boss of a dungeon, because at that point you will sort of be leveled up enough that most of the enemies are running away from you. And just because you are more powerful than enemies and they no longer want to fight you, doesn't mean they aren't producing enough experience points to sort of project you along into the game in a really meaningful fashion. But this is one of those moments where it's just, wow, okay, I get why people have such reverence for EarthBound. I get why people have such a deep love for this game and can't understand why people haven't played it. And having done it myself, I now want to shake people and say, why haven't you played this game? It is on a console where you are not doing anything else right now. Although I guess that's not really true right now. We've got Wonderful 101 and Wind Waker HD and all sorts of other things coming out. But in general, that Wii U is just sitting in the corner. And you have something like EarthBound. And I guess what really ultimately bums me out the most about playing, or having played this, is that goddamn I want to play Mother 3. And I don't know how I do that. I haven't, I guess, looked into the cartridge prices for the cartridge. You know, the game came out in Japan, but all there is a fan translation, which by all accounts is very well done. Even Marcus Lindblom, who translated this game, made it sound like, you know, what he had read about the script. It seemed in tone, and he had pretty high regards for something that is, you know, fan made and not officially sanctioned by Nintendo. But I don't know. I want to play that, but you know, it gets into a weird gray area, and it's like, okay, well then, am I like tracking down an original cart and then flashing that game with the translation to a new cart and putting that into GBA? I mean, like, it's really complicated, and I'm hoping the fact that I really just don't have time to play another game like this for a while. You know, why would Nintendo get around to releasing this if they weren't at least considering the idea of translating Mother 3? I cannot imagine they will actually use that fans translation, because that's just not what happens. But it would be a real shame if they didn't at least give some serious consideration to the idea of bringing over what appears to be the last game of the series, given that, oh, I can't, I'm gonna butcher his name. The creator of this toy. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Has said that he has no interest in making another Mother game, and that Mother 3 represents the end of that for him. So it would be tragic if all of us could not, you know, support that financially and ensure support for a franchise that Nintendo has ignored for so long, because I would like to be one of those people. So I don't know. You know, part of the reason I've leaned so hard into doing all this stuff with EarthBound is maybe I can do my part. Maybe I can be part of that. Let people know that we want more of this, and I want to see and I want to play Mother 3. So that is EarthBound. It is available now on the Wii U Virtual Console or an expensive SNES cart on eBay, although I imagine the price is probably going to be coming down pretty rapidly as a result of this being available in an official capacity now. But highly recommended. Even if you have lapsed on JRPGs, which I have been fairly harsh of them in recent years. But damn if this isn't a good one, and damn if it doesn't feel extremely progressive in 2013 for a game that was released in 1995. It still holds up incredibly well, and I cannot recommend it enough. So that is EarthBound for the SNES / Wii U / whatever console Nintendo decides to charge you for it on in the future, the Nintendo 1DS. Yeah, EarthBound. You should go play it.